Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive,
Wow.
where we're going to be tackling something pretty big,
Okay.
spiritual philosophy. And we're not just dipping our toes in the water here.
Right.
We are going all in, exploring a range of sources,
Right.
from ancient Egypt
Wow.
and Buddhism and Druidism,
Yeah.
all kind of woven together with some surprisingly modern ideas.
It's a unique journey for sure, because all of this is coming from one single book
Yeah.
that spans centuries of thought and a whole bunch of different traditions.
And it all starts with some pretty fundamental questions.
Yeah.
Why are we here?
Right.
What happens after death? Is there even any point to any of this?
Big questions.
Talk about starting big right out of the gate.
It's fascinating how these questions have echoed through time.
Yeah.
Across cultures. They really seem to be at the core of the human experience, driving that search for meaning and understanding.
Absolutely. Now, this book doesn't hold back.
Okay.
It challenges what it calls materialistic and superficial views of truth. Basically saying there's a whole unseen domain of life that we need to explore. What do you make of that?
Well, it's interesting. It's a real critique of limiting ourselves to only what we can see and touch. It's like trying to understand a symphony just by looking at the sheet music.
Right.
You're missing the depth, the emotion, the entire experience.
Oh, I love that analogy. That's a good one.
Yeah.
It really makes you think.
Yeah.
So where do you personally fall on that spectrum? Do you lean more toward those material explanations, or do you sense there's something more?
Well, this book definitely pushes us to consider that there might be more to reality
Yeah.
than meets the eye, and it does so by taking us on a tour through different spiritual traditions.
Oh, okay.
Let's start with Buddhism.
Let's do it. I'm always drawn to that story of Buddha.
Right.
The prince who gives up this life of luxury to seek enlightenment.
Yeah.
It's a powerful transformation.
It is, and it's not just the story, it's his teachings that resonate with so many people, and this book highlights his focus on knowledge, compassion, and this concept of karma.
Okay, so how does the book present karma?
It presents karma as a system of cause and effect,
Yeah.
but not in a fatalistic way. It's
Yeah.
about understanding that our actions today shape not only our present, but also our future.
Right.
It's about personal responsibility and the power we have to create change.
So it's not just about what happens to us, but the choices we make.
Exactly.
And the ripple effect of those choices.
Exactly. And from ancient India, the book jumps to a tradition that's often misunderstood, Druidism.
Yeah, people tend to picture druids as, these mystical figures out in the woods.
Right.
But there's so much more to it.
Absolutely. The book dismantles that stereotype of the barbarian.
Right.
And it highlights the druid, the sophisticated cosmology and understanding of the soul's journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am particularly intrigued by their belief in these three circles of existence.
Okay.
Anufin, Abrid, and Gwynfide.
Yes.
What are those all about?
Well, they represent stages in the soul's evolution.
Okay.
Anufin is like a starting point,
Okay.
the realm of potential. Abrid is the material world where we experience life and we learn. And Gwynfide,
Okay.
that's the realm of happy world where the soul has achieved a higher state of being.
So it's a journey of growth and progress, with each stage building upon the previous one.
Exactly.
Kind of makes you think about where you are in your own personal journey.
It certainly invites reflection.
Yeah.
Now, ready for another adventure?
I am.
Let's head to ancient Egypt.
Let's go. I'm always fascinated by their rituals and symbolism.
This book describes these incredible initiation rites
Okay.
where individuals would discover their luminous double or their celestial soul.
So what does this luminous double represent?
It's the idea of a spiritual self that exists beyond our physical body, a spark of the divine within us. Have you ever felt that? A sense of something larger, something deeper within yourself?
Yeah, those moments of connection to something bigger than yourself?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And the book suggests that this spiritual self is not limited to our physical existence,
Right.
that it continues to evolve beyond death.
Okay.
But before we dive into that, let's move on to a figure who kind of bridges ancient wisdom and modern faith,
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, that's a fascinating transition. So how does the book portray Jesus in this context?
It presents him as a pivotal figure who took these ancient esoteric teachings and made them accessible to the masses.
Okay.
He democratized this hidden knowledge,
Right.
offering a path to spiritual understanding for everyone, not just an elite few.
So it's about breaking down barriers and
Yeah.
making spiritual growth available to all.
Exactly. And this idea of universal progress,
Right.
the soul's journey towards perfection, this is a core theme that runs throughout the book.
And this is where reincarnation comes into play.
Right.
Okay.
The book makes a case for reincarnation, arguing that it's the key to understanding life's inequalities in the pursuit of justice.
So it's not just a random cycle of birth and death, but a purposeful journey of soul evolution.
It proposes that we live multiple lives not as punishment, but as opportunities to learn, grow, and ultimately to achieve a state of greater spiritual awareness.
Okay, so how does the book use reincarnation to explain the inequalities we see in the world?
Well, it raises the question, why are some born with talent while others struggle? Why do some face hardship while others seem to sail through life?
Right.
Reincarnation offers a framework for understanding these differences.
Okay.
Not as random occurrences, but as part of a larger soul journey unfolding over many lifetimes.
That's a really interesting way to look at it. It shifts the focus from blame and resentment to a broader perspective of growth and evolution.
It encourages us to see our lives and the lives of others within a larger context, recognizing that we're all on this journey together, learning and evolving at our own pace.
Right.
But the book doesn't just rely on ancient wisdom to support its argument. It also delves into more modern evidence for the soul's survival.
Okay, now that's what I call a cliffhanger. We'll have to pick this up in part 2.
Welcome back to our deep dive into spiritual philosophy.
Thanks for having me back.
When we left off, we were about to explore the book's foray into more modern evidence for the soul's survival.
Right, and I'm curious to hear what kind of evidence we're talking about.
Well, it does delve into the realm of Spiritism and the phenomena associated with it.
Okay.
The book takes us back to the early days of this movement, table-turning, mysterious knocking seances, the things that initially captured people's attention and sparked their curiosity.
Okay, so it starts with those classic, almost cliché images of Victorian spiritualism, but it doesn't stop there.
Right, not at all. The book quickly moves beyond those parlor tricks to explore more compelling evidence.
Okay.
It cites documented cases of apparitions witnessed by multiple people, instances of mediums revealing specific details about deceased individuals that they couldn't have known otherwise, and even scientific investigations by prominent figures like Cesare Lombroso and Camille Flammarion.
Now, those are some names that carry weight, especially in the scientific community.
Yeah.
It's not just anecdotal evidence, it's being studied by credible researchers. That adds a whole other layer of intrigue, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, and it raises the question, could there be more to reality than what we typically perceive? Could there be a realm beyond our 5 senses that we're only just beginning to understand?
Okay, so let's talk about the book's attempt to explain these phenomena. It introduces this concept of the paraspirit, right?
Yes, the paraspirit, imagine it as this fluidic body, a subtle energy field that surrounds and interpenetrates the physical body.
Okay.
It's kind of like an energetic blueprint of ourselves.
So it's not just some static thing, but a dynamic aspect of our being.
Exactly. And the book proposes that this paraspirit doesn't simply vanish when we die. It survives death and acts as a bridge between the material and spiritual realms.
So it's like a cosmic spacesuit, allowing us to navigate these different dimensions of existence. I love that imagery.
It is quite evocative. And what's even more fascinating is that the book suggests that this paraspirit evolves alongside the soul. It becomes more refined and luminous as the spirit progresses on its journey.
So it's not just about surviving death, but about continuing to grow and evolve in the afterlife.
Yeah.
It's like this never-ending process of becoming.
Precisely, the book emphasizes that just like in the physical world, there are different levels of existence in the afterlife.
Okay.
Think of it as a spectrum of spirituality, with each level reflecting the state of one's paraspirit and the level of spiritual development they've achieved.
So where we end up on this spectrum is determined by our actions, our thoughts, our overall moral development during our earthly life.
That's the idea. The book proposes that our experiences in the afterlife are a reflection of our inner state. It's not about external rewards or punishments.
Right.
It's about the natural consequences of our choices and the energies we cultivate within ourselves.
That's a powerful concept. It really puts the responsibility for our spiritual well-being squarely on our own shoulders.
Yeah.
But what about those who haven't led a particularly virtuous life? Are they doomed to eternal suffering?
Not necessarily. The book emphasizes that this is not a system of eternal damnation.
Okay.
It suggests that even those who have made mistakes, who have stumbled along the way, have opportunities for redemption and growth.
So it's never too late to turn things around.
Yeah.
There's always a chance for course correction.
Exactly. And this is where reincarnation plays a key role.
Oh.
The book argues that these multiple lives offer us chances to learn from our mistakes, to grow, and to eventually shed those negative aspects of ourselves that hold us back.
It's not about condemnation, but about continual progress. It's a journey, and we're all on it together.
Precisely. And this journey isn't linear. We may stumble, we may regress, but the overall trajectory is towards greater awareness and understanding. Now, this brings up a question that often arises when we talk about reincarnation.
Okay.
If we don't remember our past lives, how can we learn from them?
That's a good question. It does seem like we're starting from scratch each time if we have no recollection of those past experiences.
This is where the concept of the subconscious comes into play.
Okay.
The book suggests that while we may not have conscious memories of our past lives, those experiences are still embedded within us.
So those past lives, those past choices, they're not just gone. They're still with us in some form.
Exactly.
No.
They shape our inclinations, our talents, our weaknesses. It's like a hidden blueprint influencing our current life, whether we're aware of it or not.
That's fascinating. So it's not just about blindly stumbling through life, hoping for the best. We have the potential to actively learn and grow from those past chapters, even if we don't consciously remember them.
Absolutely. And the book provides insights into how we can tap into those subconscious memories.
Okay, how's that?
It encourages introspection, self-reflection, and exploring our deeper selves through practices like meditation and dream analysis.
So we can kind of access that information even if it's buried deep down.
Exactly. By delving into those deeper layers of ourselves, we can uncover those hidden patterns and influences that are shaping our present.
Okay, I'm starting to see how all of these pieces fit together. It's this intricate tapestry of body, soul, and experience, all interwoven across multiple lifetimes. It's quite a picture, isn't it?
It's a vast and complex subject for sure. And the book doesn't shy away from exploring some of the more nuanced aspects of the afterlife, including the different types of spirits we might encounter.
Now, this is the part that always gets me a little curious and maybe a little nervous.
Okay.
Are we talking friendly ghosts or something a little more sinister?
Well, it's important to remember that spirits are simply souls without bodies. They retain the same personalities, inclinations, and even flaws they had during their earthly lives.
So basically, it's like encountering a diverse crowd, just like in the physical world. You got your kind and helpful folks, and then you've got those who are, well, maybe not so much.
Exactly. There are spirits at all levels of development, from those who are wise and benevolent to those who are still clinging to earthly desires and negativity.
Okay, so how do we know who to trust, who to listen to if we're encountering these different types of spirits in the afterlife?
The book emphasizes the importance of discernment.
Oh,
It's not about blindly accepting every message or communication we might receive.
right.
We need to use our critical thinking skills
Right.
to evaluate the content of those messages against our own moral compass and inner knowing.
So we can't just switch off our brains and passively absorb whatever comes through. We need to be active participants in our spiritual exploration.
Absolutely. We need to question, evaluate, and ultimately make our own informed decisions.
It's like anything else in life. Healthy skepticism is key. We can't just take everything at face value.
Exactly. And the book provides some practical guidance on how to cultivate a more discerning approach to navigating the spiritual realms.
Okay, I'm all ears. What kind of guidance does it offer?
Well, one key recommendation is to focus on inner development.
Okay.
The purer and more virtuous our own thoughts and actions, the less likely we are to attract negative influences.
It's like that old saying, birds of a feather flock together. We attract what we vibrate.
Precisely by cultivating a positive and loving mindset, we create a kind of spiritual shield, attracting those who resonate with that vibration.
So it's not just about passively hoping for the best.
Yeah.
It's about actively shaping our spiritual environment through our own thoughts, actions, and intentions.
Exactly. And this brings us back to the book's broader message about the purpose of life.
All right.
Why are we here? What's the point of it all?
Okay, I'm ready for the big reveal. What's the ultimate goal? What are we supposed to be doing with all these lifetimes, with all this potential for spiritual growth?
The book suggests that the ultimate goal is to achieve a state of perfection.
Perfection. Now, that sounds like a tall order.
It is a lofty goal, but it's not about achieving some unattainable ideal. It's about striving for continual improvement,
Right.
evolving towards a state of greater wisdom, compassion, and love.
So it's not about being perfect right now, but about constantly striving to be better, to
Exactly.
align ourselves with those higher qualities.
And this journey is not just about personal enlightenment. The book emphasizes that our individual progress is intertwined with the progress of humanity as a whole.
So we're all in this together, helping each other evolve and grow.
Exactly. It's a collective endeavor. By striving to become better versions of ourselves, we contribute to the overall elevation of humanity.
Wow, that's a powerful thought. It reframes the whole idea of personal responsibility. But it's not just about me, it's about us. It's about recognizing our interconnectedness and working together towards a shared goal.
Exactly. And this interconnectedness is reflected in the book's emphasis on duty and charity.
Right, we touched on that earlier. It's not enough to just focus on our own spiritual growth. We have a responsibility to help others along the way.
Precisely, the book argues that true spiritual progress is inseparable from acts of love and service.
So it's not just about meditating on a mountaintop. It's about engaging with the world, making a positive impact, and helping others to reach their full potential.
Exactly. It's about living our spiritual principles in our everyday lives.
And that can manifest in so many ways, right?
Absolutely, from caring for our families and serving our communities to advocating for social justice and promoting peace.
Right.
It's about recognizing the suffering of others and doing what we can to alleviate it.
It's about taking action, using our gifts and talents to make the world a better place. It's about walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Precisely. And this brings us to the book's call to action. How do we put all of this into practice? Where do we even begin?
Right. We've explored all these amazing concepts, but now I want to know how to actually apply them to my life. How do I take these ideas and make them real?
Well, the book doesn't just leave us hanging with a bunch of lofty ideals.
Right.
It provides some very practical guidance outlining specific ways we can live a more purposeful and ethical life.
Okay, I'm ready for the action plan. What are the key takeaways? Welcome back, everyone. I don't know about you, but my mind is buzzing after that last segment.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
We covered so much ground already, from ancient traditions to the mysteries of the afterlife.
We did. We went deep.
And now we're finally at the book's concluding chapters.
Okay.
So I'm ready for the grand finale.
Okay.
What's the big picture takeaway?
Right.
What's the ultimate message this book wants to leave us with?
Well, it wants to impart to the reader that it's not just about acquiring knowledge. It's a call to action,
Okay.
an invitation to a spiritual awakening,
Okay.
a shift in consciousness that moves us beyond those materialistic pursuits toward a more holistic understanding of our existence.
A spiritual awakening that sounds pretty profound, but also maybe a little bit daunting.
Yeah.
Is this something that happens overnight, or is it more of a process?
Well, the book emphasizes that it's not about some sudden epiphany or dramatic conversion experience.
Okay.
It's a gradual process of inner transformation,
Yeah.
a journey of self-discovery and growth that unfolds over time.
Okay, so it's a path, not a destination.
That's it.
And we've been talking about a lot of the practices that can help us along that path, right?
Right.
Self-mastery, intellectual development,
Yeah.
connecting with nature, engaging with the world, cultivating a connection to something greater than ourselves.
All of that.
It's about aligning our thoughts, actions, and aspirations with a higher purpose.
It is.
And as we make progress on that path, our whole perception of the world begins to change.
Yeah.
So what shifts do we start to see when we look at the world through this spiritual lens?
We start to see the interconnectedness of all things.
Okay.
We realize that our actions have consequences that extend far beyond our immediate sphere. It's like realizing we're all part of this delicate web of life.
Right.
And our choices, even the seemingly small ones, have a ripple effect throughout that web.
It makes you think twice about taking things for granted, you know?
It does.
About the impact we have on each other and the planet.
Absolutely. And with that realization comes a sense of responsibility.
Okay.
A desire to contribute to the well-being of others, to make choices that benefit not only ourselves, but the collective as a whole.
So it's not just about personal enlightenment. It's about recognizing our role in the larger scheme of things and stepping up to that responsibility.
Exactly. And as we embody that responsibility, our values begin to shift as well.
So what becomes important when we start seeing the world through this spiritual lens? What takes priority?
Well, Material possessions and superficial pursuits start to lose their allure.
Okay.
We realize that true happiness isn't found in accumulating things or chasing external validation.
Right.
Instead, we find fulfillment in acts of love, service, and creativity.
Mm-hmm.
We discover joy in connecting with others,
Yeah.
in making a positive impact on the world, and expressing our unique gifts and talents.
It's like that saying, the best things in life are free.
Yeah,
But it's not just about being frugal.
right.
It's about recognizing what truly matters, what brings lasting happiness and fulfillment.
Exactly. It's about aligning our priorities with our spiritual values. And this shift in priorities, this realignment, has a ripple effect on all aspects of our lives.
In what ways? How does this play out in our everyday experiences?
Well, our relationships become more authentic and meaningful.
Okay.
We're no longer seeking to get something from others to fill some void within ourselves.
Right.
We approach our interactions with genuine love and compassion,
Yeah.
seeking connection, understanding, and mutual growth.
So it's about moving from a place of need to a place of giving,
Yeah,
from a place of ego to a place of service.
exactly. And that same shift applies to our work as well.
Okay.
We approach our tasks with a sense of purpose and dedication,
Mm-hmm.
no longer just working for a paycheck,
Right.
but seeking to contribute our unique talents and skills to something larger than ourselves.
So it's about finding meaning in our work,
Yes.
aligning our passions with our purpose,
Yeah.
and using our skills to make a positive impact.
Exactly.
We also become more conscious of our impact on the environment.
Right. We start to see the interconnectedness of all living things, the delicate balance of nature, and our role in preserving that balance for future generations.
It's like this domino effect.
Yeah.
This spiritual awakening transforms not only our inner world, but also our outer world.
Mm-hmm.
The way we interact with others, the choices we make, the impact we have on the planet. It's quite a transformation.
It's a profound shift.
But the book acknowledges that this path isn't always easy.
It's not.
There will be challenges along the way, both internal and external.
There will.
It's not all sunshine and roses, as they say.
No, it's not.
There are bound to be bumps in the road.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges we might face on this journey?
Well, internally, we might struggle with old patterns and habits, limiting beliefs, or the pull of our ego.
Right.
It can be challenging to let go of those old ways of being, to embrace this new perspective, this new way of living.
It's like stepping outside of our comfort zone,
It is.
challenging our assumptions about ourselves and the world.
And externally, we might face resistance from others who don't understand or share our perspective.
Right.
We might encounter skepticism, criticism, or even outright opposition.
So how do we stay the course when we encounter those challenges? How do we keep moving forward when things get tough?
The book emphasizes the importance of faith and perseverance.
Okay.
It's about trusting in the process even when we can't see the immediate results.
Right.
It's about remembering our connection to something larger than ourselves, that source of wisdom and strength that is always available to us.
It's about having that unshakable belief that we're on the right path,
Yes,
even when it feels like we're stumbling in the dark.
exactly. And it's important to remember that we're not alone on this journey.
Right.
There are others who have walked this path before us who can offer guidance and support. There's a whole community of like-minded individuals who are also striving for spiritual growth, who understand the challenges and can offer encouragement and inspiration.
So it's about reaching out, connecting with others, and finding strength in those shared experiences.
Absolutely. We don't have to go it alone. Now the book concludes with a powerful message of hope.
Okay, I'm ready for that. After exploring all these complex ideas, I'm ready for some inspiration.
Right.
What's the ultimate vision the book offers for humanity?
It envisions a future where humanity has awakened to its true spiritual nature. A world where love, compassion, and justice prevail. A world where we live in harmony with each other and the planet.
Okay.
Where we recognize our interconnectedness and work together for the common good.
Wow. That sounds like a beautiful utopia.
Right.
But how realistic is that given the state of the world today?
The book acknowledges that there's a lot of work to be done, a lot of healing and transformation needed.
Yeah.
But it remains optimistic about humanity's potential for growth and evolution.
Okay.
It reminds us that we have the power to create the world. We want to see one choice, one action, one thought at a time.
It's about holding on to that belief, that vision of a better future, and letting it guide our actions even in the face of adversity.
Exactly. And this transformation, this shift in consciousness begins with each of us.
So it's not about waiting for some external savior or some grand event to change the world.
Right.
It's about taking responsibility for our own spiritual growth
Yes.
and contributing to the collective awakening.
One step at a time.
That's the ultimate message this book leaves us with.
It is.
We have the power within us to create a more beautiful, just, and compassionate world.
We do.
The power to awaken to our true nature and to live in alignment with our highest potential.
Yes, and with that inspiring message, we come to the end of our deep dive.
This deep dive has taken us on quite a journey, exploring not only the mysteries of the universe,
It has.
but also the depths of our own being. We delved into ancient wisdom,
We did.
modern evidence, and practical guidance for living a more purposeful and meaningful life.
We sure did.
And I think we've all come away with something valuable to reflect on.
Absolutely.
So I encourage you to revisit the ideas we've discussed, to explore them further, and to see how they resonate within your own heart.
Yeah, it's all about that inner exploration.
And remember, the journey of spiritual growth is ongoing. There's always more to learn,
True.
more to experience, and more to share.
Absolutely.
So thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time,
Yeah.
keep seeking, keep growing, and keep shining your light.